start for England.
Martin never looked that missing.
The opening goal of the game by Tony Duggan. Brilliant finish. That's what she does. Here's another goal for England. They do have an equaliser, and it's Ellen White. And a goal for England.
Deflection, and it's gone in, and it's another own goal. Despair for England, but joy for the USA.
The first of 3 SheBelieves Cup games coming your way. England will pit their wits against the USA, Japan and Brazil in this annual invitational tournament. Today, the Lionesses are in Philadelphia to meet Brazil. And with the World Cup just 100 days away, the whole thing on the BBC, by the way, they'll be hoping to channel their inner Rocky Balboa. Well, I have 2 with me this evening who certainly have the eye of the tiger. Former England defender Alex Scott and former England goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis. And Alex, you've played in this tournament. What's it like out there? It looks like a great event.
It is. I absolutely love playing this tournament because you are up against the best teams. It replicates a tournament play-in, recovery. You have to go again, so no getting high in those higher moments, no getting low because you have to go again. And actually what this tournament does, playing against the best teams, you learn lessons because England breezed through their qualifying, but playing against these sorts of teams, you learn lessons about the players that you want to take to a World Cup and actually the sort of characters, but the team you want to start building going into a World Cup, which is massive.
Yeah, and it is a World Cup year. It's just around the corner, 100 days to go today, and this is the perfect preparation, isn't it?
It is, because you get to play against some of the best teams in the world, such a variety of tactics and attributes to the teams. The likes of Japan are technically very, very sound, play lovely technical football, turns and short passing mainly is their game. Brazil, very different, open flair, the usual sort of Brazilian style. And the USA, the #1 team in the world, kind of have everything, a combination of all of those. And, coming in the European, qualifying in the European groups for the World Cup, England don't get the chance to play these types of teams very often. So coming to the SheBelieves Cup is kind of like a golden chance ahead of the World Cup to even play against the likes of Japan, who are in our group.
Yeah, it will be very interesting for sure. Let's have a look then at the 2 teams for this opening match of the SheBelieves Cup, starting with England, and Chelsea's Carly Telford gets the nod in goal for the opening game, while Abby McManus, who made her debut in this tournament last year, earns her 10th cap in central defence. PFA Player of the Year Frank Kirby and fellow Ballon d'Or nominee Lucy Bronze both start, and England's top scorer at the SheBelieves Cup, Ellen White, gets the chance to add to her tally. Brazil are captained by Marta, the veteran forward who was named the best player in the world for the 6th time in 2018, but the experienced striker Christian is missing through injury. And the man who's put that England team out, Phil Neville, has been speaking to Joe Curry.
You said this week that the goalkeeper position was the hardest one for you to lock down. Carly Telford starts in goal tonight. Does that mean we can assume that she'll be your #1 for the whole tournament?
No, I think the reasoning behind playing Carly today was the fact that we looked at all 3 keepers have different attributes, and Carly, particularly with the game back in October, showed great attributes in terms of coming off a line and distributing from the back. So we pick our goalkeepers that suit the game, and Carly gets the nod tonight.
It's going to be a very cold night, bitterly cold. Temperatures could drop below freezing. Does that affect how you approach the game in terms of how you use substitutions?
Probably, yeah. I think you'd like to think it'd suit the English rather than the Brazilians. But it is going to be cold. It's going to be a day where we're going to have to play with real intensity. Because we've got a fresh team, I'm asking for a lot of intensity, a lot of pressing and a lot of forward runs forward, and hopefully that tactic will work. We can use six substitutions in this tournament, which is always helpful. Particularly with the demands of the tournament. But I think what we thought is that in the World Cup we only have 3, so we've got 3, and we've got 3 up our sleeve if we need it. Look, I will be using the substitutes tonight because, like I say, we've probably got 3 on the field that probably need substituting maybe after 60-70 minutes, and we've got players on the bench that need the opportunity to play at this level. So it's opportunities for everybody.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, decisions for Phil Neville to make. Rachel, we'll start with goalkeepers. He's gone with Carly Telford tonight. Do you think she is the number one?
Well, I think if England are looking to play out of the back, for me, she's the strongest of those three goalkeepers there at the SheBelieves Cup. She's fantastic with her feet, the way she's composed on the ball, her distribution, short and long, out of her hands as well. If we do need that more direct ball, I think she's got the accuracy. She's got the range of pace on how she can deliver the ball as well. So I think she's probably the most natural goalkeeper as far as in that capacity as a goalkeeper. She's also, fantastic at shot stopping. But it's a strange situation for the goalkeepers this time. We don't have a nailed down, starting number one. None of the three goalkeepers really are even their club's number one week in, week out. So it's a tough one. SheBelieves could really be, the chance for goalkeeper to really kind of nail on who is number one.
Yeah, good chance for a lot of players as well, and particularly because there's some real experience missing for the SheBelieves Cup in Jill Scott and Millie Bright. A big opportunity for some coming in.
Yeah, and that's where I'm actually looking at the team Phil set out. And Kira Walsh, because she is young and inexperienced in that position, and she's used to having like a Jill Scott and a Jordan Nobbs alongside her. So I'm looking for her today to really step up and dictate play in there, because I think that's what's going to be key to today's game against Brazil.
Yeah, it's a starting game for this SheBelieves Cup. England finished second last year. I mean, it's a huge test. Can they go one better?
I think... you're looking at this starting lineup. I don't think this is necessarily England's best starting lineup, and I would think he would like to add to this starting lineup for the World Cup. But we're looking at the SheBelieves Cup, and Brazil are the lowest ranked team in this. We've got to beat Brazil first and foremost. But England are still in the ascendancy.
You're going to have to. The girl there in the plasma screen, you can see Marta. I mean, she is a sensation in the women's game, isn't she?
She really is. Top leading goal scorer at World Cup, 15 goals. And she is the sort of player that can devastate defences if they're not concentrating. Excuse my voice. Her skill level and her pace. And actually, Phil Neville made a big statement the last time these played back in October, saying that he would still have Fran Kirby as his number 10 than Marta. Well, today, we see that again today.
Yeah, Fran Kirby, of course, scored the winner when these two met just last year in October. So, a big player. He is playing Fran in behind Ellen White again. He likes her in that role, doesn't he?
He does. I think it gives her the freedom to burst into, almost kind of like rotate with a 9, which we anticipate is going to be Ellen White tonight. But she can pick the ball up and run, almost be shielded by the likes of Ellen White, and Nikita Paris is going to come in from the wide position and join in that central role. Fran Kirby's got real quality, real kind of burst of pace. But if you're trying to pitch her up against Marta, she's tried and tested. I'm still not totally convinced.
I don't know. I look at Marta. I think we're not seeing Marta in her prime at the moment. She's up to adapt her game. She isn't as fast, that devastating player that she was, but she's still their danger player.
Yeah, she's running a bit on reputation, but she's not 6-time World Player of the Year for no reason.
No, it is almost a year to the day since Phil Neville took over. His first game in charge was the opening game of the SheBelieves Cup last year. How do you see this year, how it's kind of transitioned coming in from the Mark Sampson era into this new Phil Neville era?
I think when we look at the Euros, I think England were found out against Holland in the semi-final. I think what Phil's come in, he's given his players a lot more trust and allowing them to play out. They're playing through the thirds, he's trusting their ability. And I think this England team is still evolving under his leadership at the moment.
They'll be standing in that tunnel there. Do you feel nerves in this competition? Because it is obviously a very, very big tournament, but it's a friendly tournament in a way.
Oh, it's not.
Do you have friendly tournaments?
No way.
Ailey, there are no friendly.
No friendlies in
It's a World
football.
Cup year. You're playing top 10 ranked teams in the world. You put England against Brazil. The only other time that I've encountered England, it was Team GB against Brazil at Wembley in front of 75, 80,000 people. It was unbelievable. And the energy and the sort of, there was no history between GB or even England and Brazil at that time. But, I mean, England-Brazil, as far as footballing nations, there is a wealth of history. And so you felt that, and you felt that energy at that stadium. I mean, I would love to be on that pitch today to be playing against Brazil.
And these players today, they're playing for places at a World Cup.
Yeah, OK, you sold it to me. It's not going to be it's not a friendly match. The fireworks are going off in Philadelphia, so let's get to your commentary team. Sue Smith is alongside Vicky Sparks.
Thanks, Ailey. A huge year for England starts here. Phil Neville has labelled the SheBelieves Cup a great dress rehearsal for this summer's big event, the World Cup in France. And the curtain rises in a freezing Philadelphia against Brazil, and the reigning FIFA World Player of the Year, Marta. She captains the South Americans. Steph Houghton, who missed last year's tournament through injury, leads England. Moments away from kickoff, but first, the national anthems. Brazil always bringing that splash of colour, even on a very, very cold evening in Philadelphia. The former England winger Sue Smith alongside me, and Sue, Brazil may have one of the best players ever to have graced women's football in their side. Although, as Rachel Brown-Finnis and Alex was saying, not in the prime that we've seen her in over her career, but still incredibly dangerous. But England definitely favourites for this one.
I think they are. You know, they go into this game ranked 4th in the world, and they go into big games like this believing that they can actually win, and maybe they haven't done that in the past.
Well, England make 5 changes from November's friendly against Sweden. Phil Neville gives several players an opportunity to impress. Round 1 of the battle for the goalkeeping jersey goes to Carly Telford, while Abby McManus gets the nod at centre-half in place of the injured Millie Bright. Kira Walsh starts in midfield. Jill Scott also absent, of course, and England's top scorer at the SheBelieves Cup, Ellen White, leads the line, and plenty of strength in depth on the bench. Demi Stokes would have been the only England player to have started every SheBelieves Cup match across the previous 3 editions of the tournament, but on the bench today, Steph Houghton, the skipper, who of course missed the SheBelieves Cup through injury last year. They had a fantastic tournament in her absence, England recording their highest ever finish as runners-up, and that battle with Marta will be the one to watch. Sue Smith.
It'll be so interesting. I can't wait to see Marta, how she is playing. I totally agree with the girls that maybe she's not in her prime anymore, but you don't get to be 6-time World Player of the Year for no reason, do you? And she's certainly the player that's got the quality that can make the difference for Brazil. She's a player that gets bums off seats. You know, as soon as she gets the ball, you think that something's going to happen. So, of course, England have got to be on the guard and wary of her, which I'm sure they will be.
And so many positive memories for Phil Neville from this tournament last year. The opener against France, winning 4-1 in his first match in charge. For the Brazil boss, Vidal, also known as Oswaldo Alvarez, but Vidal is how he is normally known as. It is their first SheBelieves Cup tournament, as the lineup of teams has changed this year. And they also make 5 changes from their last friendly, a 3-1 defeat by World Cup hosts France. Marta, of course, their star player, But watch out for their number 19 as well, Ludmila, known as the Road Runner because of her pace. And the evergreen Formiga starts in midfield. Brazil's most capped player turns 41 on Sunday. Not too late, Sue Smith. Get back out there.
I'm thinking I might get my boots back on. But what a player she is, great experience. She'll just be looking to get on the ball, make things happen, and use all of that experience. You won't see her sprinting around everywhere. She just knows where to go, right place, right time.
Brazil are missing a couple of big players for this. Experienced goalkeeper Barbara and the veteran striker Christian in particular. But a big moment for England. Phil Neville, who got off to that dream start in his first match as England manager at this tournament last year. We're hoping for goals again today. And the chance for several England players, Sue Smith, to impress, given their opportunities in this opening match of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think Phil Neville wants to do. He's already said that he hasn't picked his World Cup squad, so it's a great opportunity for them.
Yes, 23 places in the squad, he says, still available as the whistle goes after early England pressure. Brazil free kick.
Yeah, I love that, though. That's exactly what you want to hear as a player, that you know if you perform, if you're playing well, you've got that chance of being part of his squad. And I truly believe that. I think he'll be looking at all of these games, obviously, in this tournament, but in the friendlies leading up to the World Cup, and decide then who his 23-player squad is.
Here is Carney, Chelsea captain. Greenwood wanted the free kick there. Brazil will clear away. There is the road runner, Ludmila, 24 years old. Scored against Manchester City as Atletico Madrid knocked them out of the Champions League this season, so will have had experience playing against several of this England lineup.
Yeah, and in the last game that England played Brazil back in October, she was probably their brightest spark. I don't think it was their best performance, but she looked lively and like you say, pace. That's what she'll be looking to do. Ball into the channels and she'll be getting after that.
Paris. Bronze. Back to her former Manchester City teammate. Just a little short from Paris. Bronze has done well to reach it. And the early effort over and behind for a corner from Fran Kirby. Well, she'd scored by this point in the friendly against Brazil in October.
Great start from England. Those two will really link up well, Nikita Paris and Lucy Bronze. Real good understanding.
England corner. Carney over it. Paris making the run. Well punched by Alini. And never being troubled by that.
Not at all. And this is what England will want to do. Start on the front foot. Real energy. Something exactly what Phil Neville said. But Karen Carney, great delivery into the box. Exactly where you want to put it. Quite an acrobatic punch away, wasn't it? By Alini. And again, this is her opportunity because, you know, I don't think she is nailed down as Brazil's #1 goalkeeper. So it's a chance for her to show, and it's a good start.
Under pressure from White. He deals with it, Alini. Yes, as you say, Sue Smith. Barbara not with the squad, she is injured. She played against England in October's friendly, was also #1 as Brazil won the Copa America last year to qualify for the World Cup. Alini had played the last couple of friendlies in 2018, so knocking on the door. And in the same way that it is for the England goalkeepers to impress, this tournament, as you say, is an opportunity for Alini. Alves finds Yushinara. And win the free kick.
It was late. That's something that Brazil will definitely look to do, that long crossfield pass. Yeah, just late on Greenwood.
But you can see already how they like to get Ludmila forward. Has an interesting backstory as well. She grew up in a favela in Brazil and has spoken about wanting to show the girls in her community that through football you can achieve your dreams. And that, on one level, is what US Soccer hope that the SheBelieves Cup will be about, that wider inspiration.
It's a fantastic story, isn't it? And it's great that role models like that, when she has made it, she can then go back and try and inspire other youngsters to go and fulfill their dream.
World Player of the Year of FIFA, Marta, missing out. Ada Hegerberg, of course, the Ballon d'Or winner. Alini. Miller, again the outlet for Brazil. Will there be a sense as well from Brazil that although England are favourites, they perhaps didn't quite equip themselves as they would have wanted to in that friendly in October, only lost by a goal, Marta going off injured early as well.
Oh, definitely, it's a chance to redeem themselves, because I thought they were poor in that game. England created lots and lots of opportunities, should have been more than 1-0, and I think that was something that Phil Neville reflected on after the game and said, actually, you know, we should have scored more goals. We're creating the opportunities. We have to be clinical in front of goal, and that'll be something I'm sure they've worked on before this game.
Yes, despite the victory, he gave the performance a 6 out of 10, Phil Neville. He is a hard taskmaster.
He's a perfectionist, and that's, again, what I like, and you have to be that. If you want to win things, you have to make sure that everything's right, not just the result, but the performance as well.
Under pressure, England concede the corner through McManus. Big opportunity for her. Millie Bright out injured. Gemma Bonner was another option, her teammate at Manchester City in the squad. Marta, the first set-piece delivery for Brazil. Punched by Telford. Walsh underneath it. Composure from the Manchester City 21-year-old there. Loses out in the end. Here come Brazil again. Carney. Good pressure from Brazil in and around that England penalty area.
Yeah, it is. Because they know that England are going to try and play the ball out. We've seen that from their last game. But I just think with Brazil, sometimes they're a little bit disorganised in their pressing.
Harris won't get on the end of that.
And England are good enough to outplay the press.
This the fourth SheBelieves Cup tournament. The USA have won it twice. France won it in 2017. We mentioned earlier there is a change in the makeup of the teams. In the previous 3 editions, it's been the current top 4 in the world, the USA, France, Germany and England. It's my understanding that France and Germany would have been very welcome at this tournament, but decided it would be better in a World Cup year to continue their preparations in Europe as England win that free kick, which is why we have Brazil and Japan making their debuts. It is an invitational tournament organised by the USA.
Yeah, and I can totally understand from a French perspective, you know, the World Cup's going to be there, so they'll want to be drumming up that support at home. But from Germany's, you would think that they would want to be here. This is, you know, it's a great tournament, chance to test yourself against the best teams. I suppose it's good from an England perspective that they're now playing against different class opposition.
Given away by England, and here is Marta. Spotted the run of Ludmila. Greenwood keeps her at bay. Rather bounces off Walsh. Here's Adriana, and it's wide. Impressive, though, from Brazil in these early stages.
It is, when they go forward like that, they have got the pace, particularly out wide, and that's where they'll be looking for the ball in the channel. So a wayward shot, and England got back. You can see their shape is very good. But they will shoot from distance, Brazil. They're not afraid to do that.
And again, that high press causing some problems for England. Carly Telford given the nods in goal today. Rachel Brown-Finnis mentioned it in the build-up, Sue, but that's the irony and perhaps the problem for Phil Neville, although he says he's not concerned by it, but that none of England's 3 goalkeepers in this squad, as we just see a replay of this challenge. Ludmila, say challenge.
No.
Nobody near her.
No, not at all. You can see all the strapping on her knee, so whether she's tried to play on with an injury or start with an injury, and she can feel it, so yeah, because there was no twist or anything there. That'll be a huge loss for them if she has to go off.
Well, you are able to make 6 substitutions in the SheBelieves Cup. But Vidal, the Brazil manager, as you say, Sue, will not be best pleased if he has to make one as early as this, and for Ludmila as well, who in these early stages has their most dangerous player. We'll come back to the goalkeeping situation in a moment. But it's been a bright, positive start from Brazil against the team ranked 6 places higher than them in the world rankings. Loose touch from Christensen, doesn't win the free kick. Adriana. Runs away from Yusinara. Walton under pressure from Bia Zanaretto. Andressa Alves. She'll try the shot from distance, and Telford watches it behind, which gives us the opportunity to pick up that conversation about the goalkeepers. Yes, neither Carly Telford, Karen Bardsley or Mary Earps, who are all in this squad for the SheBelieves Cup, are guaranteed starters at their clubs.
They're not, and that is a concern. I think you want your goalkeeper, your #1 goalkeeper for England, to be playing on a regular basis. I think that the positive that Phil Neville's took from it is that they're all at top clubs, Manchester City, Chelsea, and I think that they're getting the training, the top quality training every single day. So they're, you know, they are playing, but just not as regular, I think, as he would have liked. So this is an opportunity for them to I suppose, hold down that #1 position. And I like the fact that he picks goalkeepers on games. So what attributes do we need today? And he's right, it's exactly what he needs. Somebody who's good with the ball at her feet, that's quick off the line. That's what Carly Telford does.
Strong running from Lucy Bronze, but just broke down before it could reach Kirby.
So, you know, both players run away from Lucy Bronze then. She just wanted one of them to come short to show for her feet.
And Marta showing her quality. She absolutely has still got it, Sue Smith.
Oh, she has. Absolute class. I like to say people come to watch things like that. You know, her touch, her awareness, her ability, technical ability on the ball.
Christensen. Challenge from Ludmila.
Look at
We'll be
this.
pleased to have her back on the pitch, but yes, this moment of skill.
Absolutely brilliant.
And Nikita Paris is not somebody you do that too easily.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be looking to do that back at some point. But great bit of skill. And it's just so easy for her. It looks simple.
And it lifts the whole team, doesn't it, when you have a player like that in your midst?
Definitely. Well, you know that she's capable of doing those sort of moments of brilliance. I like to say, in her prime, could literally win a game on her own.
By frustration from Paris, who's having a fabulous season with Manchester City. Christensen. England yet to settle, really, in these opening stages. White will chase this. Not too sure that had gone out. White had lost possession of it anyway.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, this is a completely different Brazil side to the one that we've seen in October. Chalk and cheese, the fact that They're really pressing aggressively. The intensity's so much higher. They're out to prove a point. And England are yet to settle to that because they did that to Brazil in the last game.
Yes, that early goal from Frank Kirby inside 2 minutes when the sides met in October. Enough to seal a win for England, but as Sue has alluded to, it was very deserved. So far it's Brazil with the better of all the play, and here comes Marta storming forward, leaves Horton for dead, challenged by Lucy Bronze, and the penalty is awarded. Steph Horton is absolutely furious with that decision, but England have a penalty. Sorry, Brazil have a penalty, England aghast.
I've got to say, watching it initially, I think Lucy Bronze got the ball. Lovely bit of skill, absolutely brilliant. Lucy Bronze gets the ball there. It's a great challenge, definitely not a penalty. What a challenge that is. Yeah, wrong decision from the referee there. But again, you see how quickly Marta pounces on. Steph Horton just takes the extra touch, gets caught in possession, and straight away Marta into the penalty box. And you have to do something.
Well, England will rightly be very aggrieved. But Carly Telford has to put that out of her mind now. Brazil with the opportunity to take the lead from the spot, and it's coolly slotted home by Andressa Alves. And Brazil have a deserved lead, if not in deserved circumstances.
Completely right. Good penalty, cool, calm penalty. And Carly Telford is actually, I think Rachel Brown spoke about it earlier, very good at shot stopping, also very good at penalties. But that was nice. You could see her body position wasn't set up to hit it in that corner. Real good disguise from her. But yeah, not deserved. And, you know, it's so disappointing when you're a defender and you know you've made a really good challenge and the referee gives the penalty, and this is where that mental toughness that Phil Neville speaks about constantly. They need to get the heads right from that. Yes, it's a wrong decision, but you make sure you put things right now on the pitch. See how they react.
That is the key. How will England respond? It has been such a positive 2018 coming into this year, despite losing that final friendly against Sweden. Their only other defeat under Phil Neville was to the USA at the SheBelieves Cup last year. But they trail to Brazil, who have been the better side. And you just wonder, it's impossible to talk about the decision-making process from the referee as in what is going through her mind. But the fact that it is a player like Marta, the fact that that player has just shown a wonderful bit of skill, I mean, it shouldn't come into your thinking at all, but we both thought, well, that is a good challenge by Lucy Bronze.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately, because sometimes it's quite difficult to spot, and you watch it again and again, and you eventually see, but that was quite a, well, it looked simple from where we were sat. I know it's at full pace for the referee.
Almost give the ball away again. Last-ditch defending from Wharton, who's now out of position as Brazil storm forward with Adriana. Bronze. No doubt about the challenge for anybody that time.
England have to be better in possession. You know, they're losing the ball far too easily, taking too many touches, which is allowing Brazil to close them down and win the ball high up the field. Credit Brazil and their pressing and stopping England, but yeah, they have to be better. This is where you need your big players now to get on the ball and keep it, but move it quickly at the same time.
Wharton. Yes, Walsh. Well, it didn't work out in the end, but there was a yes there, Sue Smith. Was that for the quick passing?
That's exactly what they need to do. It's that 1- and 2-touch passing, look forward when it's on, and it was just a final ball that was lacking. But yeah, if a team are pressing you like that so quickly, you have to just keep it moving.
A scoreline that not too many would have predicted pre-match. Brazil are well worth it. Carney. Challenged by Erica. Formiga with the turn. Draws the foul and the free kick. Formiga which means ant in Portuguese, given for her hard-working style. As we see Horton giving the ball away to Marta, which led to that penalty. Every angle, Sue Smith.
Fantastic bit of skill, though, wasn't it, from Marta? The fact that she wins the ball and straight away her first thought is to get herself and the ball in the box, and then a defender's got to make a decision. And Lucy Bronze timed it to perfection, but there's always the doubt then in the referee's mind, isn't there? I think we were saying that Marta might have lost a little bit of pace. She certainly didn't look like she had there.
And anything she now lacks in pace, she still makes up for in skill.
Yeah, she does.
But it's Brazil looking the calmer in possession. They are on a poor run of form, albeit all against sides in the top 10 in the world. They've lost 5 of their last 6 international games. You really wouldn't know it from this performance so far.
They certainly haven't lost any confidence.
Formiga. Well anticipated by Christensen, ahead of Andressa Alves. Carney, though, dispossessed. Formiga, one of those players that is just everywhere, where she needs to be, exactly at the right time. Carney.
She just knows that role so well. Sometimes doesn't even have to put a tackle in because she's in the right place at the right time.
White goes down, nothing given. Really hasn't been able to get into the game so far, Ellen White. You could apply the same to England really as a whole, truth be told.
It's been tough for her, for Frank Kirby. They can't get on the ball because England haven't had the ball. You know, the delivery into them hasn't been good enough. But what you know you'll still get is work rate. They'll still keep working off the ball, keep trying to get themselves into positions. They just need to work their way into the game, England.
The teacher's throw. Christensen. You can hear Phil Neville on the touchline. Higher, better, as England come forward. Bronze. Kirby. Paris. Brazil appeal for offside, which is eventually given.
That was better again from England, though. Worked the ball well, got the ball out wide, and that's their in ball. I think as the ball comes in, that's close. That's actually really close when you look across the line. But yeah, better. Nikita Paris can come in from one side, Kaz Carney from the other, and then you've got the fullbacks both capable of overlapping. Alex Greenwood on one side, Lucy Bronze on the other. And that's where the space will be, because I think Brazil, they get disorganised with movement, so good movement. England will certainly get in down the flanks.
To bring that to bear, you have to get hold of the ball.
Yeah.
Monica. Bronze away. But there is an energy about Brazil today.
A real energy, and considering you mentioned their record 5 losses, physically they look in great shape.
Letitia. Andressa Alves trying to feed it back in. England just can't clear their lines effectively at the moment. Marta thought about the back heel there, didn't she? Greenwood will reach that and allow it to go out for the throw. England can't panic. Plenty of time left to play. It's the opening game of the tournament. But on paper, the easiest, and Brazil are not making it look that way at all.
Playing some lovely football, Brazil. You know, nice little bit of play on the edge of the box there. Formiga with the shot. That's what they do. They see an opportunity to shoot and they'll shoot. They don't care where they are on the field.
Good strength by Adriana. Formiga to Letitia. Zanaretto. Carney in ahead of Letitia, but she's lost it too easily. And Ludmila was stretching and couldn't make the most of the opportunity. But again, England not quite awake, Sue Smith. That was sloppy.
Too slow on the ball, taking too many touches. And Brazil are they're just capitalising from that. As soon as England take that extra touch, they're straight away they're on them, and the first thought is to go forward. How can I go forward and make something happen?
White comes very deep to receive the ball, feeds Carney. Kirby is making the run in the centre. Carney looks for her, and Paris, with the deflection, sends the header over the bar.
That's the bit of quality that England needed. Nice bit of play initially from Ellen White, who played Karen Carney. Lovely spot from Carney to see Fran Kirby coming in, Nikita Paris at the far post. This is unfortunate for Nikita Paris. She knows nothing about it. It just hits her, doesn't it? That deflection just takes it off. But lovely ball from Kaz Carney. That's better. That should hopefully give them a little bit of confidence now.
Come forward again. Here is Bronze. Just putting Brazil under a bit of pressure, and Bronze has gone in late there, and that will be a free kick to Brazil. But for the first time, just seeing a little bit of nervousness in the Brazil defence when England have players in the penalty area.
This is a challenge from Lucy Bronze. Do you know, I don't even think she really touches her. You can't dive in like that. And again, it's giving the referee a decision to make. But there was very little contact. I don't think there was any need for the scream and the rolling around. And that's not me being biased.
Of course not, Sue Smith. Well, Andressa is up. And Brazil will have a free kick. Bronze, who looks really fired up after conceding that on penalty very unjustly. Adriana wanted the free kick, not given. Lucy Bronze involved again. Here is Nikita Paris. Taking on Yusanara, still going Paris. Pulls it back, the miscued shot from Izzy Christensen. Brazil will come forward, trying to hit England on the counter. Here's Bia Zanaretto. Marta. And you think she's going for the cross, and she deceives everyone and almost deceives Carly Telford over the bar from Marta.
The pace at which Brazil break. England were on the attack, such a quick counter-attack. If it was anybody else, you'd think that was just a miss-hit cross. But with Marta, she meant it. You can see she looked up, thought everyone's thinking, I'm going to cross it, I'm going to have a go. Yeah, great ability.
And you may have heard the Philadelphia Stadium announcer announcing that yellow card for Lucy Bronze. Maybe we should do that more often at football matches, announce some yellows.
It was a little bit late though, wasn't it?
Just so everybody is completely clear as to what happened 2 minutes ago. Zanaretto. Well dealt with by Horton, who is eventually fouled by Bia Zanaretto. Won her 6th consecutive South Korean League title last year. Has just come back from a shoulder injury. And Another important player for Brazil. They are missing Christiane, the veteran striker, who's injured. Her link-up play with Marta, something that Brazil enjoy as a hallmark of their side. But they do have other players, Zanaretto, Ludmila, in the peak of their careers, both mid-20s.
Zanaretto's a good player, physical, very quick. We've seen already that she causes problems with her work rate off the ball, as well as on it.
Half an hour played, England trail, and yet to really show what they're capable of. Can Nikita Paris change that? Fizzed across, Kirby collects, and just wide. Good presence of mind, can't quite find the target.
Great play from Nikita Paris, that's twice now. She's isolated herself 1v1 with the defender. The first time she went inside, beat the defender. This time she goes outside, gets a great ball across the face of the goal, and Fran Kirby just can't quite get it on target. Manages to get it out of her feet onto her left foot. You can see what she was trying to do, it was the right thing, she just couldn't get that direction. But you just think Nikita Paris has got the beating of the defender there.
PFA Player of the Year last season, Fran Kirby. Phil Neville said he would take her over Marta any day after her winner against Brazil. You have to say that about your own players, don't you? But there's no denying that England's number 10 is also a talent.
It's nice though, that's what you want to hear as a player. And he certainly does that, he certainly gets the best out of his players, says the right things in the press.
Carney, flicked on by Kirby towards White. Ludmila. Well in by Walsh, 21-year-old. Remarkably made her 100th appearance for Manchester City this season, despite being that age. Came through their academy. An integral player for them. And you sense she has a big future with the national side as well. Here is her former Manchester City teammate Lucy Bronze, now of Lyon, back from Nikita Paris. Just breaks down for England. Ludmila has gone down again. Well, she was able to continue after going down early on initially. But you would think, for Valdao, the Brazil manager, why take the risk?
Yeah, completely agree. I think when she initially went down, she's clearly got a problem. She had that strapping on her knee, whether she thought taking that off would benefit, but yeah, she's still clearly struggling with it. You want her fit. Yeah, she's just gone down. Nothing around her. You clearly want her fit for the World Cup. She's a key player for them. Offers something different, and I think he's had to make the decision now. But you just hope that she hasn't done anything major or made it worse. Because you want to see these players in the World Cup. You want to see the best. She clearly has a lot of potential.
And it looks certainly as though it will be the end of her afternoon in Philadelphia. As you say, Sue Smith, she will hope to be a big player for Brazil at this summer's World Cup. Brazil have qualified for every World Cup since the tournament began in 1991. It will be their 8th World Cup. And for all concerned, they will hope that is not too serious for Ludmila. You wonder whether it will rule her out of this tournament as a precaution, with the 2 games left to come for Brazil. Japan on Saturday, then the USA next Tuesday. But Ludmila's participation over. And injury aside, England may breathe a slight sigh of relief. They will not be facing her for the rest of this afternoon. Although Dabinia, who is coming on, can prove more than a handful herself. She won the regular and the playoff titles with North Carolina Courage last season, scored in their championship playoff final. Very at home, playing in the United States.
She's not a bad replacement. And again, it's something else for England to worry about. But they've got themselves back into the game. Created a couple of opportunities. She needs to keep doing that.
And Dabinia's first touch can't keep that in. England throw.
Used to seeing Frank Kirby, aren't we, in those little pockets of space, picking the ball up, making things happen. She's not been able to do that. And that's probably been down to the quality of the ball into her and the way that Brazil are defending, not allowing that to happen, because she did that so much in that first game.
Harris will chase. Jusinara. Paris with the block. She's working hard. She always does, Nikita Paris. Just needs more of the ball.
Yeah, Jusinara doesn't know what to do when Nikita Paris is running at her. Because she's good, she can go inside, she can go outside, and she's in great club form, and she's certainly taken that into this game. She's just not had enough of it.
Yeah, she became the Women's Super League all-time leading goal scorer back in November, Nikita Paris. Netted her 37th goal, overtaking Eni Aluko. Has really shone in predominantly a central role for Manchester City. As England don't get that decision, and Bia Zanaretto is storming forward, vital interception to prevent it reaching Marta, but again, England lose possession in a dangerous area. Kirby comes back to help out. But that's what England can't afford to do. Initially, they win it back well, but just that lapse of concentration. And it seems Sue Smith expecting that they'll have a little more time on the ball, which Brazil are absolutely not giving them.
No, you're right, and I've got to say I agree with Steph Houghton there. I did think the ball went out of play, but you can't stop playing. You've got to play to the whistle and keep going.
Formiga. Jusinara. Zanaretto. Andressa Alves.
Just had a shout from Phil Neville about don't drop too deep.
Formiga with the ball over the top. Telford collects.
Yeah, they need to squeeze up, and he's absolutely spot on. Because Ellen White is getting so isolated up there as the players and the gaps between the midfield and the forward line are too big. Need to be more together. Go up together as a team, go back together as a team.
Yes, the times we've seen White on the ball have been few and far between, and often around the halfway line she's had to come so far back to get the ball. Bronze plays it off Adriana. And you don't want to see Lucy Bronze staying down. Thankfully she doesn't. Bronze. Adriana gets the better of her that time. Christensen, Walsh, Bronze. Manus. To the Manchester United captain Alex Greenwood. Dropped down a division to join them from Liverpool. Will hope to win promotion to the Women's Super League. Here is White, challenged by Erica. Approaching half-time, England need to move it quickly. Carney. Probably won't reach that. Zanaretto, too strong for Walsh. Jusinara. She was trying to set Marta away. But again, positive strength from so many of the Brazil players. Zanaretto, Formiga. England finding things difficult in Philadelphia. Wharton trying to find a spark from somewhere. Paris. Adriana is there. Jusinara off Paris. Brazil throw. And England just can't make headway at the moment.
They can't. It's quite interesting that I actually wrote down from the last game that Brazil's wide players don't get back and help out defensively. Both of them have done today, so they've clearly looked at what happened in the last game and were like, you have to get back, because the likes of Lucy Bronze and Alex Greenwood, Demi Stokes, whoever's playing, will get forward, will create things, and sometimes they're England's most creative force. They're both getting back and helping their team out today, so I'll just scrub that bit out, should I?
Well, they've learned from it, as you say, Sue Smith. Oh, Greenwood's ball in. Jusinara clears. Christensen. Greenwood again. And Alini collects. And England have a player down. Nikita Paris in a bit of difficulty. But that was a chance for England.
That's a great delivery from Alex Greenwood. And again, we've not seen enough probably of that. Alex Greenwood getting in advanced positions, because when she does, her delivery with her left foot is probably one of the best in the leagues. You know, superb. You can see both attacking it, both Frank Kirby and Ellen White. I don't know, did Nikita Paris slightly twist her ankle or get a kick?
I think Jusinara might have just caught her there.
Wow. Slightly twist, doesn't she? Hopefully that's one of those you can just run off. She does everything right. That's what you want from your wide player. As the ball's coming in, you come across and try and be that second centre forward, if you like. Oh, she does look in pain.
Yes, and she is not a player who stays down, Nikita Paris.
Bless her.
And that reaction will tell him everything he needs to know.
You could see the twist, couldn't you?
Well, any time a player goes down and looks in that much discomfort, particularly in a World Cup year, it is so concerning. England have already lost, of course, Jordan Nobbs with that ACL injury. And we hope that this is something that will not be as serious for Nikita Paris. They will take no risks, of course.
Oh, yeah.
They will stretcher her off if they feel they need to.
Yeah, just look after her.
Hopefully a painful twist and nothing more, Sue Smith.
Yeah, and that can happen. I can't watch it.
Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
No, unfortunately, I've done my ankle, and they can be different. Sometimes you can twist it and it feels really bad initially, and you go off, and after, you know, sort of 20, 30 minutes, you think, actually, I'm not too bad. And then other times it can be a few weeks, a little bit longer. So hopefully it's nothing too major. Keep our fingers crossed for her.
Arsenal's Beth Mead will be the replacement.
And it looks like number 22 is coming in. 22.
And Nikita Paris, that is good news, at least up to her feet and able to make her way from the pitch. Well, she wouldn't go off on a stretcher if she could help it, would she, Sue Smith?
No, not at all. No, she's a great character on and off the field. And like you say, she's not a player to go down. You know, if she goes down, it's something that she's not going to be able to continue with.
Phil Neville just double checking how Nikita Paris is.
She seems to be walking a lot better.
She does. The substitution is ready if necessary. But Paris
he's going to wait till half-time and let the medical staff completely check her over.
Well, she is a player, of course, who would want to continue if possible. So England hold off on the substitution for now. Not quite a Kepa Arrizabalaga situation. And Nikita Paris back on.
Oh, that's good. That's a good sign.
That's perhaps how to do it.
Yeah.
Rather than staying in your penalty area and just wagging a finger. Beth Mead looking slightly disgruntled. She thought that was her moment there.
I'm sure she'll get an opportunity. If not in this game, certainly in the others.
And that is good news for England. When the stretcher comes on, when you see those replays, you fear the worst. But Paris will look to run it off. You can hear Phil Neville directing the ball towards Ellen White. The problem is Brazil are making it so difficult for England to work it up the pitch, although they do have a free kick.
You can understand why Ellen White wanted to come to the ball. She's wanting to get involved. But as that lone striker, she has to try and press them back as far as possible, just to create that little bit of space for the likes of Frank Kirby to go into. We've probably not seen the rotation from those two as much as what we have done in the past. But again, probably because they've not been allowed to do that. Not through any fault of their own.
Interception from Adriana. Brazil breaking with pace. Just loose from Adriana on the return from Marta. England almost get themselves into trouble again. Greenwood to Carney. Christensen. Looking for Kirby. England throw. Horton. No one there for England. Brazil deal with it through Erica. Nice touch from Christensen, but straight to Marta.
Brazil are first to every ball, second to every ball. So England, they need to be better with their passing, but also with that winning the second ball, yeah.
Brazil coming forward again. Adriana. The Brazil League Player of the Year last season with Corinthians. Top scorer as they won the Brazilian title. Carney trying to close down. Erica away. This is better from England in the closing stages.
It is, they finished the first half much better. Again, they'll be happy they've created the opportunities, but just need to have that clinical finish. But like I say, I think they'll be disappointed with the passing in the first half. They've been caught in possession a few times. At times, I feel they could have gone forward and they've gone sideways or backwards. So they're things I'm sure Phil Neville will speak about at half-time.
Carney. Can England strike a late blow at the end of the first half? Brazil trying to play their way out of trouble. Formiga. No nonsense clearance that time. Davinia. Referee allows that to go. Horton. Wasted.
She had a ball out wide there, Lucy Bronze. Tried to force it.
When time is running out at the end of the half. Perhaps one more chance for England to get forward, to try and do some damage to Brazil. Bronze with the delivery. Falls to Kirby. Driven in by Walsh, blocked. Greenwood will go for goal herself. Fanalini is right behind it.
That's another superb delivery. Both full-backs are getting great deliveries into the box. This time it was Lucy Bronze, and ends up it falls out to Alex Greenwood on her weaker right foot. Still manages to get a ball in, but what a delivery that is. Looks like Ellen White's got a little push in the back there, and as it falls to Fran Kirby, she just can't wriggle her way to get a shot off.
Here come Brazil. Adriana Zannaretto pointing to where she wanted it. Well dealt with by Horton. Harris dispossessed again. England lose it in a dangerous position, and Yusanara can't take advantage. But England are so often the architects of their own downfall with the ball in these areas.
And that'll be something that will be said. That's such a vital interception there from Keira Walsh. Just that little toe. Put out for a corner.
Marta's delivery. Away and behind, but that will be the final action of the first half. Brazil deservedly lead. The penalty from Andressa Alves was controversial, shouldn't have been given after Lucy Bronze won the ball from Marta. But overall, Sue Smith, Brazil, absolutely it's been their half, and they will say, well, regardless of how the penalty was awarded, it's our lead and we've earned it.
Yeah, and I think Brazil were probably the better team in that first half. England, they'll be disappointed with maybe some of how they were giving the ball away far too easily. Passing was probably not as good as what it should have been, but a lot to learn. I'm sure they'll take that into the second half.
Plenty for England to ponder. Half-time in Philadelphia. England 0, Brazil 1.
Well, plenty for England to do in that second half. Alex Scott and Rachel Brown-Finnis alongside me. And Rachel, it was a really frustrating start for England, but they did grow into the half as it went on.
They did in spells. I wouldn't say they grew into it and started to dominate, but I think the way that England tried to play, I'm still trying to work out, if I'm being honest. They didn't seem to have a real pattern of play, a particular identity, and they certainly caused themselves a lot of problems. Particularly Steph Horton at the back, you know, in possession, receiving the ball from the goalkeeper, you want to play quickly. And invariably at Manchester City, it's a teammate, Keira Walsh, to get on the ball from a centre-half. But every time Steph Horton was looking up, looking for a pass, it seemed like there was either no one on or she was having to rush that pass. And invariably, again, England would lose possession.
What's the biggest frustration for you, Alex? And what do you think will be Phil Neville's biggest frustration right now?
How sloppy England have been in possession. Are Brazil better than England? No. But England are making them better because they're sloppy, they're not moving the ball at any tempo, movement off the ball isn't there. And you're looking at the players that are out there, and that's my frustration watching it, because they are in form in their club, but they're not showing it at the moment. And this is where Phil Neville will look around the changing room, because you want characters to now step up and perform in the second half.
Well, it was sloppiness that led to the opening goal, well, the first goal. Steph Horton losing the ball. But when it comes to the actual penalty, Sue Smith was pretty adamant it wasn't. What are your two thoughts on this?
No penalty, simple as that, but it was given. But it was, again, you know, Steph Horton in possession, no danger. But you're playing Brazil, you're playing Marta. And so there is danger, there is always danger. And Marta is very clever, gets across Steph Horton, sells her. And, I mean, Lucy Bronze comes across, makes a fair challenge. Marta dives, rolls, lets the referee know that she thinks it's a penalty. But certainly from all the replays we see, it isn't.
Yeah, that is clearly not a penalty. And if we're talking about the World Cup and this tournament replicating a World Cup, there isn't VAR in a World Cup. So if that's a semi-final and then Brazil going to win that game, that is a frustration also. And
when you're playing these top teams in the top 10 in the world, you get punished for mistakes, and they were punished here, and Andressa Alves with the penalty.
Yeah, and that'll be absolutely no different in the next two upcoming games, and absolutely no different in the World Cup. So these are lessons that England need to learn, and need to learn quickly. If I was Phil Neville in that dressing room, I would be pretty livid. England have been sloppy. They've looked quite apathetic. So when the ball's been turned over, there didn't seem to be a huge amount of urgency to try and press that ball. You know, counter that with Brazil, who I think have had quite a decent amount of urgency.
Yeah, the sloppiness has been pretty much throughout the England team out there in that first half, Alex, hasn't it?
Yeah, we can see Phil want England to play through the thirds, but you can't be this sloppy in possession. It's knowing it. It's checking over your shoulder where you want to play that next ball. You need to know, you need movement off the ball. And this has just been a continuous theme throughout the first half. And you can see it's having knock-on effects. It's affecting the players' confidence. They're just sloppy, the tempo's not there. And you can't actually even pinpoint one player because it's been 3 or 4. And that's where is, like Rachel, you said, that identity. The players actually, do they have clarity in their roles? Do they know, are they working on patterns of play? Because we can't see that at the moment, at this moment in time.
There doesn't seem to be any sort of synchronised movement, you know, a ball play out wide, a midfielder bomb on in front to join in. Very often we're seeing Ellen White isolated up front. The only time England have started to get a little bit of joy is when they've pushed further up the pitch as a 10, as outfield 10. All units, backline moving up higher, midfield moving up higher, and that seems to be working.
Is that something that you've noticed over these last sort of few matches that England have played, or is this just now that they're playing against a top team in a big tournament sort of environment that it's becoming more prevalent?
Well, they're certainly under the microscope when you start playing against top 10 teams in the world. You don't get away with errors, you don't get away with, you know, lacklustre performances, and you know that's proven already in this first half. But the biggest thing, as Alex mentioned, I'm not seeing the link-up play, the identity, the understanding in this team. And yes, Phil Neville in the last few games has lost huge players, likes of Jordan Nobbs, Jill Scott's not here, Millie Bright. You know, that's a core part of what the England team has been over the last 5 years, to a degree in the midfield. And we're seeing that those relationships on the pitch are still evolving.
They did create a few chances, though, Alex. We'll put some positives in here.
I'm smiling.
They had a few chances.
Yes, and it comes, Nikita Parris just there. She doesn't know that it's going to fall, but I suppose that's the experience of Kaz Carney putting in a great ball. And this could have actually gone anywhere. And Keats is looking around and hoping it went in the goal, but obviously it didn't. And this is what I like. I do like Lucy Bronze and Nikita Parris linking up down this right-hand side. And then right here, Fran Kirby, she isn't starting for Chelsea at the moment, and maybe that's what we saw there, the rustiness in front of goal that we're used to seeing, her normally finishing chances like this.
I mean, that's one of those well-worked relationships, isn't it, Lucy Bronze and Nikita Parris, that we've seen really decimate some teams. So there are still some signs. I think I'm quite negative in this first half because I'm frustrated, because I know England can be so much better than they have been in this first half, and I'm pretty sure they'll be feeling exactly the same. They got their success to a degree, England, right towards the end as they move further up the pitch. And I think Phil Neville will be insisting that his team start on the front foot and take the game to Brazil.
Yeah, Nikita Parris, such an influence for England and for Manchester City over this last season. She's been on great form. That looked like a nasty injury, though.
It did. In slow motion.
Yeah, everything looks bad in slow motion. But it'll be interesting to see if she is fit enough to come out for the second half, and whether Phil Neville will want to risk her to come out for the second half with these 2 games to come.
Yeah, when you see it here, you can see that she actually goes over and you're thinking, oh, she's potentially done her ligaments. I've had a lot of ankle problems and done ligaments, but it's that initial thought of it. When you feel it go over, you think it's worse than it is, but then Nikita saw out that half and she's run it off, so they'll assess that at half-time and see. But will they want to be risking her if it is bad? Absolutely not, especially when you've got 2 other big games to come in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of Brazil's influential player, we mentioned her before the game, Marta. She might be on a few years now, but she has still got it, hasn't she?
She's magical. I mean, some of her touches are unbelievable, and the way she still sells people, you know, how sharp her movements and her cuts are that with a ball. Formiga, I mean, she's, you know, a grandma of the team. and her control was unbelievable at times. But, I mean, Marta, you can never underestimate. Yes, you know, her sort of, she's in her twilight years to a degree, but I won't talk them through, Alex, exactly the trick that she did on you in the
could
Champions
tell.
League.
This exactly.
But
Just that ability to do that. I remember in the Champions League final, I had her up in the corner. I was like, you're not going anywhere. She started doing kick-ups and flicked it over my head and away she went. But this is some of the stuff that we're seeing that she produces. And she has that magic, and that's why she is known around the world. Even coming today saying, oh, England are playing Brazil. And then the driver was like, oh, that girl, yeah, she's one of the best in the world. Even though they didn't know it was Marta, they've heard of her because of skills like that.
Yeah, and I mean, she was the best player in the world last year, and she's showing little glimpses tonight of why.
Yeah, I mean, she nearly caught Carly Telford, you know, with that left foot. She absolutely drilled that strike. Carly was still checking kind of her defence to make sure they were marked up, and Marta had whistled it over her head. So, yeah, you've got to, like, have all eyes on Marta.
Yeah, well, plenty more football to come tonight, but there's plenty more to come over the next few days as well. Match of the day is over on BBC One a bit later. England's second She Believes game is on Saturday night against the USA. Scotland are building up to the World Cup in the Algarve. They take on Canada on Friday, and you can watch it on the BBC Sport website. And Nick Bright brings you the first round of the FA People's Cup on the iPlayer and Red Button this Saturday. Well, it's 1-0 in Philadelphia between England and Brazil. We'll have full commentary very shortly, but let's get back into the stadium where Joe Curry has met a former New Zealand defender.
Yes, I'm joined by the former New Zealand captain and the director of women's football at Copper 90, Bex Smith. Bex, training at the break, what did you make of the first 45 minutes?
Yeah, I thought England came out really well. They definitely set the tempo and had some really nice chances, especially on the right side. And then, unfortunately, quite an early goal from Brazil on the penalty, so that kind of changed the tempo of it.
The penalties are obviously the big talking point from the first half. Thoughts? Was it soft, or do you think it was a penalty?
It was hard to tell because I was sitting quite high up, but yeah, my gut feeling was it was a penalty, so it'd be interesting to see sort of on replay in slow-mo, but it did feel like a penalty, and that's typical Marta, isn't it? I mean, she'll get the ball in transitional areas and she'll just drive at players, and anywhere near the box with her with the ball is super dangerous, so you have to be really careful.
She's really been able to show some of her top-class skills today. Are England doing enough to nullify that attack?
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I think they're doing a really good job defensively, and they're trying to stay compact. I think what they're doing is giving away the balls in really critical areas and just playing a bit sloppy at times and losing the ball. And Brazil will definitely punish you if they get the balls in those areas. They're amazing in the transition, and they're just so ruthless going forward, aren't they?
Having said that, England have had chances on goal. If you were Phil Neville, looking at your subs bench, would you bring anyone on, and who would you bring on in the second half?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job, actually. I mean, they've had a lot of chances up the right-hand side. They haven't really utilized the left as much, although Kaz had a really nice cross in. That was also another almost a finish by Nikita. But yeah, I think Beth Mead can add a little bit to the mix. I think she's shown her quality, especially in the game against Australia. She was, for me, one of the standouts in that match. So, but it's hard. I think the team's been doing really well. I think they're just kind of doing it to themselves at this point.
It's pretty cold here today. How badly does that affect a player?
Yeah, I think it's definitely different per player, but it affected me a lot when I was playing, and talking to some of the Brazilian girls last night, they definitely weren't stoked to play in that temperature. It's literally freezing, so.
Well, look, we'll let you get warmed up. Here in Philadelphia, though, England have a little bit of work to do. They're trailing 1-0 at the break.
Moment for England. We're hoping for goals. Here comes Marta, challenged by Lucy Bronze, and the penalty is awarded, and it's coolly slotted home by Andressa Alves. A fizz to cross, Kirby collects, and just wide.
Yeah, so England trailing at the break. What do you want to see, Alex, in this second half?
More tempo, better in possession. I do like Lucy Bronze. She always drives the team forward, but she has to be careful. She's on a yellow card as well.
Is it more the second half about performance, do you think, Rachel, or does the result really matter as well?
I think the result will matter. They're treating this like you would treat the World Cup, and I think that's how they should do it. Phil Neville will use the bench because you can use up six substitutes in this, but I think he'll be looking at getting the result first and foremost.
What kind of changes do you expect him to make? Like you say, 6 substitutes. He's got plenty of options on that bench. What do you sort of think that he'll be looking to try and change in there?
There'll certainly some more support for Ellen White up top. I don't know if he'll make a tactical substitution, or I think he'll certainly go out in the second half unless Nikita Parris has to come off because of her injury. And we saw that Beth Mead was the substitute he was going to bring on for her. So we might see that from the outset. But I think he'll give sort of the starting 11 a chance to rectify some really sloppy, poor play in the first half, and to try and apply the game tactics that they had in their mindset before the game in the second half, before he makes any tactical changes.
Yeah, I think we saw it towards the end of the first half. England actually started to get higher up the pitch, and that allowed them to press Brazil and win it in better areas. So I think that's how they need to start this half.
Attacking players on the bench as well. You've got Jodie Taylor, who's definitely got minutes in her, perhaps not 90 minutes, which is why she didn't start tonight. And you've got Toni Duggan, who was delayed in her flight over to the States, so was a bit jet lagged. But, you know, they're incredibly talented and attacking players to have on your bench.
Absolutely, and they can come on and they're game changers. We've seen Toni, what she's done going over to Barcelona and in an England shirt. But I think Phil will wait and see if this group of players can kind of find the tempo and the rhythm of the game, and then he'll look to make changes.
Well, let's find out what will happen in this second 45. England trailing 1-0 as the second half begins. So let's join our commentary team of Sue Smith alongside Vicky Sparks.
Thanks, Ailey. Well, Brazil have been certainly the better side so far. And we saw there, Sue Smith, Nikita Parris looks as though she has come out for the second half.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I actually thought that she may have had to go off because of that injury, because of that twist. Clearly the physios had a look at her, made sure that she's okay and she's ready, because they're not going to take any risks. The most important thing is that she's fit and raring to go for the World Cup, but she must be fine. But I'm sure Beth Mead's ready, just on standby, to make sure, just in case she's needed, she'll be ready to come on.
So we are away in the second half. Can England find a way back? Alini. Walsh. Here is Lucy Bronze. And now Parris. Bronze with the interception, Brazil throw. And Sue Smith, it was a word we used in the first half, it was a word used at half-time, just sloppiness from England. It was the hallmark, ironically, of the goals they conceded at the SheBelieves Cup last year. Yeah, they have to cut that out in the second half.
You can't do that against teams like Brazil, like America, that will punish you if you take too many touches on the ball, or you know, you're a little bit slow in possession. They win the ball and straight away they're on the attack, and we obviously saw what happened when they got caught. They won the penalty, so they have to be better. That will have been spoken about at half-time. Make sure the quality on the ball is better. Look after the ball, look after your teammates.
Kirby's ball in, dealt with easily by Alini. But a brighter start from England. You said Phil Neville might have a few words to say at half-time. Can certainly believe it. And that's what they need to show in this second half. They need to show and find the energy that Brazil exemplified in the first. Formiga. Letitia, away from Carney. Here is Walsh, Manchester City. Christensen. Carney loses out. It will be an England throw.
Yeah, I think Ellen White needs to try and stay as high as she possibly can in the second half. There were just times where she was drifting, coming closer to the midfield, and I understand why she's doing that. She's trying to get on the ball, and if she does do that, that's where you need a runner, so maybe Frank Kirby to stretch the play.
Christensen. Paris, early ball, Letitia back to Alini, who had to race out quickly. Christensen. Kirby makes the run, latch onto it, and that's the equaliser for England. She only needs one chance. Ellen White gets her 4th goal across the SheBelieves Cup. She is England's top scorer in this competition. And she has her 1st goal at this year's edition. And it's a big one. England won, Brazil won.
Absolutely brilliant from Ellen White. The fact that, how clinical is this? One chance. What a finish that is. Lovely ball in from Frank Kirby. Real nice way to pass, but the movement from Ellen White, she sees where the space is, runs into the space, and on that turn, straight away, she knows where the goal is. Fantastic finish. So good to see her back fit, because I know she's had a lot of injury problems this season. Come back in the league, scored a fantastic goal against Chelsea. She's just done that here. Really, really pleased for her.
The perfect start to the second half. Ellen White provides it. Now, can England build on this? Brazil coming forward. Zanaretto. Using the width, continuing her run. Zanaretto. Wide of Telford's near post.
They just have to be careful. They've scored a goal, they then need to just remain focused, keep your shape. You know how quickly Brazil will break on you. It's always going wide. Carly Telford would have had that covered, and I think Abby McManus was in the right position if needed, but the pace at which they go forward are great to watch and difficult to play against, because they move, because Marta never stays in one position, just floats around, looks to get on the ball, looks to make things happen.
England again taking a little chance at the back. Bolton and Telford between them deal with it. Here comes Kirby, looking for Nikita Paris, uses her pace, and Alini, a rather unorthodox position, but it paid off. If Paris could have lifted it over her,
I think that's what she was trying to do.
White would have had that opportunity, but in the end, well dealt with by Alini.
Again, clever from Frank Kirby. She knows Nikita Paris. She's got the pace on Jusanara, and yet she's trying to do that. She sees the goalkeeper off the line. She's just trying to dink it, just couldn't get the technique, couldn't get a foot underneath the ball. But good effort, much better from England, this.
And that early goal was what they were able to do to Brazil in the friendly back in October in the first half. And just to get back on level terms will be such a boost. This is an England side that doesn't need a confidence boost. It's going into this World Cup year with high hopes. They're aiming to win the tournament. They might not be favourites, but they certainly have the pedigree to do well. England have reached the semi-finals of the last European Championships, the last World Cup, of course, that historic World Cup bronze. But after the first half that they had, after the shock, really, of how well Brazil played, to pull it back to 1-1 so early will be an encouragement. Must hold firm now, though. Dabinia, almost dispossessed. He goes down and wins the free kick, much to the frustration of the Manchester United captain Alex Greenwood.
They're just clever, the Brazilians. They feel a touch on the back. You know, Alex Greenwood, it's hardly anything on her at all, and she goes down really, really easy. But you've got to be aware of that. You know what team you're playing against. You know that if you do raise your arms and touch them on the back, they will go down, a little slight kick. And they win fouls and free kicks in dangerous areas.
And it is danger for England. Jessa Alves with the delivery. Carney will bring it away. Under pressure, has given it away. It is Andressa Alves again. Nikita Paris with her. Again, England finding it really difficult to clear their lines. Monica to Zanaretto against Greenwood. And to the frustration of the Brazil substitutes behind the goal, concedes the free kick.
Greenwood did well there. Really good defending, got a body in the way. And Steph Horton, previously from that corner, defended really well. Didn't allow her player to get in front of her, won the header, stayed strong. So I know that's something that Phil Neville and his team have been working on, the set pieces, making sure they don't concede from them.
Given away by Greenwood. Well, he'll be encouraged by the start to the second half. A test for him as a manager as well. Has spoken about this first year in charge that he's had, Phil Neville. Says the initial scepticism over his appointment just over a year ago motivated him. He's that type of manager, was that type of player, will take it and use it.
And he's certainly done that, and he instills a real belief into these players that they can go out there and beat any team. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. And I'm sure his talk at half-time was really motivational, because the way that the girls have come out, it's so different, so much more positive, on the front foot.
Greenwood with the free kick towards Paris. Up and away by Jusenara. Paris retrieves. Touched by Kirby. Deflection behind for a corner. Well, she's not shy to go for goal, Fran Kirby. She loves the spectacular.
Tell you what, that was a vital interception there from the Brazil defence, because if that hadn't have gone on target, Ellen White was just ready as well. You can see she had a head in her hands because she knew that was coming through to her.
England corner. Chelsea captain Karen Carney drives it in, looking for Horton, away by Formiga. Greenwood just a little loose. Marta will tidy up now. Will we see some more skills, some more trickery? No, a simple pass that time. She can do that as well.
That's the thing with Marta, you're always waiting for her to do something. You're disappointed when she doesn't.
It's about knowing when to do it as well.
Of course it is.
And the player of her calibre, her experience. But as you say, Sue Smith, come on, surely anywhere on the pitch. Just try something a little special. Greenwood. Stops the run of White, intercepted by Erica. Given away by Brazil. Too many times we've said that so far. Carney.
Again, good pressure from England. They're forcing Brazil back, winning the ball higher up the field.
Zanaretto. Manis with the foot in. Finds herself in an advanced position. Now Carney. Just flicked away by Erica. Oh. And Alini is there in the nick of time.
That was unlucky. But again, good pressurising. This time it was Abby McManus won the ball initially. It comes out to Karen Carney. She's just got real quality on her delivery. And as it falls to Nikita Paris, that's a great header. That's exactly what she needed to do. She just couldn't probably get enough power on it to beat Alini, but good effort, right idea.
Much more positive from England.
We just think when the ball goes out wide, there's quality there from the left side, from the right side. and they're both different. Kaz Carney likes to just get a yard and whip it in early, whereas the likes of Nikita Paris, 1v1 with the defender, wants to beat the defender, get herself in the ball in the box. So it's different things that the Brazilian backline have to deal with.
The referee just having a little word with Karen Carney and Adriana, who has gone down. Brazil free kick. Yes, and we saw those deliveries from England in the first half, but as Rachel Brown-Finnis was saying at half-time, there wasn't that sustained pressure, and that's what England have been able to build a little bit in the second half. Give Brazil something to think about in quick succession, not just every 5 minutes. Marta loses out to Walsh. Formiga wins it back for Brazil. Jusenara. Away by England. Playing with handball, not given. Greenwood all the way back to Telford. Here is Walsh. Paris. Kirby does well. Now Lucy Bronze. England noticeably trying to come forward as quickly as possible in this second half. If that means sending the ball long, it means sending the ball long.
It's great watching them play the ball out from the back, nice possession, but sometimes if you can go direct and it's working, you do it. But I think that the difference as well is the likes of Frank Kirby's getting on the ball a little bit more, finding those pockets of space that maybe she wasn't finding in the first half. We saw with her pass through to Ellen White, she's just got that awareness, that ability to find a pass, and a clinical pass at that.
She has struggled again a little bit with injury this season, Frank Kirby. 13 goals for Chelsea so far this season. Scored a hat-trick in their last match against Bristol City. But injuries really been such a bane for her as Nikita Paris comes forward over the head of Ellen White. Christensen will keep it alive for England. Dispossessed well by Dabinia.
It's a real good area where England got into there, just overhit the cross, did Nikita Paris, because Ellen White was in. She could have maybe kept it on the floor.
Kirby for White again with that early ball, and behind for a Brazil goal kick.
I think when you know you've got someone like Ellen White in the box who will literally throw her body at anything, you get deliveries in there and you think a good delivery, she'll get on the end of it.
And it has been a difficult season for her as well with injury. She's missed most of it with a back problem. Started for the first time since August last week. Birmingham beat Brighton. A player that England will be desperate to have back to full fitness for the World Cup with no more problems through the rest of the season. Here's Bronze. Moves kindly for Paris, and now Kirby. And White makes the run into the penalty area. And the collision is a heavy one between herself and Alini. The ball had gone. Both players in a bit of pain. Alini looks like she has come off worst.
Both players had to go for that. Again, Frank Kirby, what a ball through. Ellen White's going for the ball. You could see that both clearly. It's just a clumsy collision. But this is a great ball. Again, good awareness. Her and Ellen White have linked up so much better in the second half. They'll both be okay. But good run, good ball. Spoke about the way to pass earlier. Again, a good way to pass. But Ellen White just couldn't get onto it before the goalkeeper.
Ellen White just having a conversation with the referee. I don't know whether there's a ring.
Is it a wedding ring?
that she's now had to put in her sock. Well, really, that should have been spotted before the game. But the referee has taken this opportunity to say, hang on a minute.
I'm not sure I'd put that down the sock.
Maybe she can run over to Phil Neville at the next breaking play and he can look after it for her. England coming forward again. Here is Carney feeding Kirby. He's waiting in the centre. Kirby. Carney. Brazil will bring it away. But England looking much more like themselves in this second half. But they could be in trouble here. Adriana. Bronze has got back. Adriana will go for goal. And Telford will watch it behind. But Brazil just showing that although England are dominating this second half, you can't turn your backs on them for one moment.
Because they're always a threat on the counter-attack. You can see Adriana's pace there. But I spoke about it in the first half, that they just look to shoot at every opportunity. There's other options, better options on. But if they see a sight at goal, they'll have a go.
Leaning under pressure. Giusanara. Will she keep it in? No, she won't. England throw.
Still thinking about Ellen White's wedding ring. Callum, her husband, will not be happy if that goes missing. Can't believe she's put it down as soft.
That's how in the moment she is, Sue Smith.
Yeah.
Never mind about a wedding ring. I've got a football match to play. I've scored the equaliser. We're back in it. England throw. Harris takes it quickly. There is that greater energy, that greater urgency about England in this second period. We can't find Christensen. As the train goes past the stadium, they are so long, the trains in America. You can be waiting 10 minutes if you're trying to cross the road and one's going. It's the smallest stadium in Philadelphia that will be used for the SheBelieves Cup. Capacity of 18,500. As England make their first substitution, Beth Mead of Arsenal replaces Karen Carney of Chelsea.
Yeah, Karen Carney's put in some excellent deliveries, hasn't she, into the box, real quality.
Rachel Daly is on as well. Izzy Christensen making way. So perhaps a change in formation as well for England. Brazil coming forward. Zanaretto. Marta lurking in the centre. Brazil felt that had gone behind. Carly Telford will roll it out for England.
Looks like Rachel Daly's gone to right back and Lucy Bronze has come into midfield.
Well, she can play there, Rachel Daly. She's such a versatile player. Phil Neville says it's almost like having 6 players in one.
But she can play either side, full back, centre forward, central midfield. It's great to have a player like that in your squad. And
England free kick offside. She has spoken about her versatility in the past, Rachel Daly, wondering whether it perhaps didn't benefit her not to have a settled position. But as a manager, if you have a player that you rate, and she certainly has been a regular under Phil Neville, and to have that option of playing them in several positions, surely a good one as Kirby comes forward. Here is Nikita Paris, goes for goal herself, and it's saved by Eleni. Mead and White were in the centre. England corner.
I don't know if Nikita Paris, she's not complaining, but I thought Nikita Paris got caught late then, just as she was about to hit the ball. But again, lovely ball from Frank Kirby. Nikita Paris, she's only got one thing in her mind. It was just a little nudge, wasn't it, that just knocked her off balance. But yeah, I don't think they're happy, Ellen White and Beth Mead, because they're both running in, one in the cross, but striker, you go for goal.
Flicked up by White, claimed by Eleni. England's turn to claim for the corner and not get one. Yeah, she's certainly goal for goal, particularly when you're in the form that Nikita Paris is in. 19 goals this season for Manchester City. Their top scorer in the World Cup qualifiers for England as well. 6 goals in 6 games. England are blessed with an abundance of riches in the forward position, Sue Smith.
It's good that they've got that competition for places as well, and if you need to change things up, a player that's maybe technically different, you can.
Walsh. Interception by Erica, who is then fouled by Beth Mead. And Brazil will make their second substitution. Raquel coming on for Bia Zanaretto. And Jay-Z will also enter the field. She is the Brazilian equivalent, you could say, of Georgia Stanway. A real young talent, the youngest player in the squad, and she will replace the star player herself, Marta. Slightly surprising, Sue Smith, or at this stage of the game where you want fresh legs?
Yeah, I think so, and again, they're probably just looking after Marta. You know, she's, what, 33 now? Say that, and we've got a 41-year-old still on.
Central midfield, that's fine though, isn't it? When you've got to do all the running around the penalty area. But she again, Marta, has shown us why she is so highly regarded in the women's game.
She's world class.
A legend of the sport. Won the penalty. Has shown some lovely pieces of skill. Greenwood's delivery. He has to watch it. It hits Paris with the header of Jusanara. Goes behind for a Brazil goal kick, but those deliveries again, Sue Smith, giving Brazil plenty to think about.
It's been excellent, and that's something that Brazil have really struggled with, to deal with those. And what England have done well is they've got bodies into the box, so it's not just one player in there. It's not just Ellen White. You've got Nikita Paris coming in at the other side. Now Beth Mead will be in there, Frank Kirby.
White went for it. Brazil just about get it away. Andressa Alves, of their penalty in the first half, helps it on. And now Jay-Z using her pace, the 20-year-old, she's still going. Finds Adriana. Davinha wants it. And Adriana, rather selfishly, goes for goal. Wrong option.
Completely wrong option. I said that earlier, that's the problem, that they get themselves into good positions and just choose that wrong decision, and most of the time it's to have a shot, but how quick was she then? It was absolutely a really good burst of pace.
Well, I say she's the Brazilian Georgia Stanway, as it were, that the Manchester City forward who is on the bench for England, in that they're both young talents. They both have done very well at youth level. Jay-Z was the Golden Boot winner as Brazil won the Under-20 South America Cup last year. And she's having a storming season for Benfica in the Portuguese second division. As Kirby stands it forward to White against Erica. We're clear for Brazil. But yes, one to watch. Jay-Z, Brazil number 18, just 20 years of age. Adriana. Raquel. Cleared away by England. Those substitutions just giving Brazil a little bit of impetus. Andressa Alves. Taking on Rachel Daly. Walsh. Greenwood looking for Paris. No ill effects from that awkward fall in the first half. Racing towards White. Brazil content to play their way out of trouble. Well read though by Lucy Bronze. Greenwood. Walsh. Here's Paris. Intercepted by Adriana. She can't keep hold of it though. Walsh again. Formiga. She's hoping to become the first player to go to 7 Women's World Cups, a remarkable record. Actually retired back in 2016, Formiga. Came out of retirement to help them qualify for the World Cup. Said the idea of breaking barriers means she now wants to play at the tournament herself. Initially it was strictly just to help them qualify, but strange how often that turns into something else. Kirby comes forward for England. Here's Beth Mead. Went for goal, and what a goal! Stunning! Absolutely stunning from Arsenal's Beth Mead. England 2, Brazil 1.
Well, she completely caught the goalkeeper, didn't she? The goalkeeper was expecting a cross. She was lined up for a cross again. Frank Kirby driving forward, draws in 2 defenders, and then when she plays the ball out to Beth Mead, I don't know if she's going to say this is a cross or if it's a goal. If she was aiming at goal, I'm not sure, but whatever it was, fantastic finish, top corner. And you've got Ellen White in there, just in case Nikita Paris is coming in at the far post, who I think she might have been aiming for. I might be doing her a disservice there. But brilliant from England. They deserve that. They've got themselves back into the game. They look dangerous every time they go forward, every time the ball goes out wide, deliveries into the box, the intensity's up, the passing's better. I'm really pleased with her because she's having a really good season.
Well, I'm tempted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but
I'm being harsh. It's only because as a wide player, I've scored a few of them every time.
Never on purpose, Sue Smith?
I probably said they were on purpose, but half the time they were crosses.
Well, it's certainly, as you say, it's taken Eleni by surprise. And whether she meant it or not, England are ahead. And Ellen White has made way. Hopefully the first thing she'll do is check where that wedding ring is. Sue Smith still in her sock. But as you say, such a huge moment for Beth Mead. England wanted the free kick there, not given. And Nikita Paris will chase this. And she's got past Erica. Can she keep it in? Yes, she can. Can't keep hold of it, but wins the corner, and she's done absolutely the utmost that she could do in that situation, Nikita Paris. Brilliant play.
She's worked so hard. Her pace has caused problems all night, really. She's, you know, even in the first half when the ball was going out to her, she was trying to isolate herself 1v1 with the defender. But you always know you're going to get that 100%. She's going to go back and defend as well as go forward.
Mead with the delivery. It's back across. Alves away. As Beth Mead ended an 8-game goal drought for Arsenal last week, scoring against Yeovil. He'll be delighted with that substitution. She's only 23. She is so keen to impress. Did very well at Sunderland before securing that big move to Arsenal. Has to compete now with Vivian Miedema, the Netherlands European champion. Here is Tony Duggan on for Ellen White. Shaken off the jet lag. plane only arrived yesterday. Kirby all in. Alini initially got it and then spilled it, and Nikita Paris drives it in. And Alini recovers very, very well. But that should have been England's third.
Shaky from the goalkeeper. You wonder if that goal from Beth Mead has just slightly upset her, because that was, that was poor. Drops the ball. Nikita Paris straight away. She's alive. She's onto it. You can see her, she comes out, just takes her eyes off it. Really quick from Nikita Paris, but I've got to say, she doesn't half recover well. Yeah, as she's going up for it, you think she's got hold of it at full stretch, but yeah, what a recovery to get up and make that save.
She's the #1 for Spanish side Tenerife. They're going well in La Liga, as we were mentioning in the first half. She will have big competition with Barbara, who is injured through the SheBelieves Cup. Trying to stake a claim to be #1 at the World Cup for Brazil. But England have turned it around in this second half, Sue Smith, and if we can say that Brazil deservedly led at half-time despite the penalty that shouldn't have been awarded, we can say that England just about deservedly have the lead. Certainly deserve to be levelled. Definitely. Paris wins the corner off Yusanara.
Again, that's a real positive side, isn't it, for Phil Neville? The fact that they didn't perform very well, particularly well in the first half, and yet they've come out the second half. Completely different side. Intensity's up, the quality's upped, and they've managed to turn the game around.
Meads corner, met by Bronze. And behind by Bronze, well, we've seen her score some worldies. Lucy Bronze, now of Lyon. One at the World Cup particularly comes to mind.
Yeah, and that was a nicely worked corner. Tony Duggan went over the ball, dummied it, fell to Lucy Bronze, and yeah, a player of her quality, you'd have expected her to at least got it on target. But it's good, I think, that Phil Neville's actually put her in midfield. It's different, but why not? She's a player with such quality, will get on the ball, more touches on the ball. Makes sense to try her in there in a game like this.
Yes, it is a tournament for experimentation, hence the 6 substitutes allowed. But there is a prestige in winning it, and England having recorded their best finish at the SheBelieves Cup in its 3 previous editions, finishing runners-up last year. They could go one better this year and win it. It would send out a real statement of intent as they win another corner.
Definitely would, and of course it's about peaking for the World Cup. That's the most important thing, but if you can take that momentum from this tournament and the fact that you've gone and beat some of the best teams in the world, of course it's a huge statement around the world.
This game first, though, needs to be made secure. Manus. Behind for another corner. Sustained pressure by England. Alex Greenwood take over corner duties. England have so many players proficient in these set-piece deliveries. Greenwood offers something different. And Alini, that time, showed good command of her 6-yard area. Davinia passes out to Daly. Jay-Z, can she use her pace again? Taking on Daly, getting past Daly, and then brought down by Daly. Well, you could see that coming all day long, Sue Smith.
Yeah, you could. She's so direct, Jay-Z, since she's come on. You know, there's 2-3 England players around her there, but she doesn't faze her. You know, straight away she's looking to beat Rachel Daly. I'm just wondering, was there a touch there, or did she go down slightly easy?
As Brazil make another substitution, Thaisa will replace Jusanara. It is at that point in the game where it is also for each coach about giving different players minutes. And Brazil trying to change things up in the dying stages of this second half. Set piece, dangerous position, driven in, and the chance wasted. JC was there, couldn't make the most of it.
Yeah, it was a chance wasted because it was a real good position. And you can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to get it into the near post. She does well to get in between the two players and get on the end of it, but she just can't direct a header.
40 goals in 19 appearances for Benfica this season in the Portuguese second division. Benfica forming for the first time have, like Manchester United in the Women's Championship, entered at that second level. And it's fair to say are just ridiculously too good for it. They've scored 273 goals in 16 league games, Sue Smith. I mean, that's just bizarre. But she's doing well for them. And not just because she's playing at that level, you can see the talent that she has.
Yeah, it's just that turn of pace and a confidence and how direct she is.
Paris flagged offside. Good movement again from the Manchester City forward. It's tight. Did she just fail to hold the line?
Oh, it's tight. I don't know if Santos is playing her on. But good movement, and just in between the centre-half and the full-back, playing on the shoulder. She knows she's got the beating of them. She could probably even give herself an extra yard because she knows she's got that pace to make sure she doesn't get called offside.
England free kick. Phil Neville instructing from the sidelines. Won 10 major trophies during his playing career. Played at 3 European Championships. Never went to a World Cup. So this summer will be a big moment in his entire career for him. The experience of being at that major tournament as a manager. Daly. Still going. Finds Kirby. Another goal would seal it for England, you feel. Particularly on the back of this second half showing. Kirby. Great. And in 2 seconds, that sums it up really, Sue Smith.
That looked like a great tackle. You can see it here. You know, nice bit of skill. Wins the ball really well. From the side. I think that's a perfect tackle.
And you can hear the shout from the sidelines. Nice tackle there.
She's done so well since she's come on.
Nikita Paris watching for the offside flag before deciding whether to chase.
Again, it's that competition for places, and so Beth Mead knows this is her opportunity. Come on, shine. She scored a goal, but it's also a work rate off the ball that's impressive.
She was England Young Player of the Year last year for the second time. He has some big decisions to make when it comes to that final squad. But as you say, that attitude of having 23 places still available when he was asked how many places were still up for grabs in the squad, as Lucy Staniforth comes on, another of those who will be hoping to knock on the door, having made her England debut last year. Frank Kirby replaced.
Staniforth as well, back in the England squad and coming on. Technically very, very gifted player, had to overcome major injuries. She's certainly a player that can make things happen.
Her first tournament for England in any guise, the SheBelieves Cup. Her Her first call-up under Phil Neville back in June, in a debut in September. Birmingham midfielder, big year for her. 26 as well, it's come late. Here is Jay-Z for Brazil. Nobody there in the 6-yard box. That's loose from Duggan. Again, England getting themselves into trouble. Hasn't happened as often in the second half, but they could be made to pay for it. Formiga. Vital foot in and cleared away by England. But so unnecessary, Sue Smith. So unnecessary.
Yeah, and that will certainly be highlighted at the end of the game, the amount of times that England have been caught in possession in poor areas, really.
And she'll know that more than anyone. Perhaps a little bit of jet lag still hanging over. Or are we being too kind? You just get rid of it in that situation, don't you? Even if you are Tony Duggan. Yeah. Even if you only arrived yesterday and you think it's whatever time.
Yeah, and she'll know herself. She's a perfectionist in her game. It's just a mistake. I'm sure she won't do that again.
Enjoying a good season with Barcelona. One of those England players that has moved abroad, says that she has become a better player all round for it, technically. Calmness on the ball, and relaxed in possession was one of the things she mentioned. That's a little bit too relaxed there.
Sometimes it's getting into the pace of the game as well. When you've been sat on the bench, and you know the game in Spain is a lot slower. So very much possession-based, good for her touch on the ball, but it just takes a bit of time maybe to adapt when you come back to international. But she's loving it over there, loving it in Barcelona. Everything's with a ball, so of course you're going to become a better player.
Brazil frustrated. Vidal watches on. There will be 2 minutes of added time. 2 minutes for England to close out a win after a vastly improved second half performance. Brazil felt this throw should have gone their way. It doesn't. Stanifer. Horton. Formiga. Well read by Daly. We just need to keep hold of it now. There will be tougher tests to come. The USA next up on Saturday, and then Japan on Tuesday. You can watch both of those games on the BBC. Jace. They take the opportunity to run. Ball goes out of play. But Phil Neville will be very, very pleased with this second half performance if England can close out the win. As Brazil make another substitution, Monica makes way. And Kathleen is on. Last 30 second substitutions, I never really see the point of them. I mean, you've got on, you've won a cap, I guess.
It's not really when you want to come on. There's nothing that you can really do to change the game.
And it wastes time in the last 30 seconds for Brazil. Greenwood, Paris. And there is the full-time whistle in Philadelphia. England win their opening SheBelieves Cup game after Sandra Alves's penalty in the first half, goals in the second from Ellen White just after half-time, and then Beth Mead give England a 2-1 victory. And Sue Smith, in the end, deserved.
I think it was really deserved. The way that they turned it around from that first half performance, they looked a little bit leggy. They looked like they probably just stepped off a plane, which they had done. Second half, completely different side, so much more intensity, and deserved that win.
And a different challenge as well, a different test that they've had to do. And they have come through it, and they have the 3 points. It finishes in Philadelphia, England 2, Brazil 1.
Well, that halftime team talk certainly worked. Alex, a much better second half performance, and they got the result in the win.
Yeah, so much more energy from every single player. They weren't sloppy like they were in the first half. You could see just the tempo, how quickly they were moving the ball and pressing Brazil higher up the pitch in better areas. So much improved in the second half.
They played second half in Brazil's half, which was the complete contrast to the first half. You know, England really struggled to get out their own half. They were so deep from the back line, and in the second half, it was exactly the opposite. Lucy Bronze, Steph Houghton, every time they were on the ball, they were either looking to run with it or to pass it, one-touch pass. So the tempo of play was much improved. They also looked, when they were in possession at the back, playing out of the back, you got to thread it through. And they used Kira Walsh and latterly when Lucy Bronze went into midfield and started holding midfield role, they used that player. You know, they were missing that player out. There wasn't enough movement for them to get onto it. So they used that link-up play and they were just much more effective across the pitch.
Yeah, and they got the first goal very early in the second half. Ellen White loves the SheBelieves Cup, doesn't she?
She sure does, and the celebration to go with it. But look, great ball from Fran Kirby. And this is what Ellen's good at, reacting in those areas, bringing those energy to be in there. And you have to say, it is a great finish, how she just latches on to this great through ball from Fran Kirby to hit that first time across the face of goal. It's a fantastic finish.
You see Alina's in goal. She's at full stretch, but that creeps just inside that far post. That is a stunning finish.
Yeah, and Fran Kirby showing what she can do in that little pocket, feeding the ball through.
Yeah, to me, I didn't quite see enough from Fran overall the whole of the game, but second half was much more improved. And as you said, linked up with the front three as it was, linked up with the front three a lot more effectively.
OK, Beth Mead, former teammate of yours, Alex, shot across.
Shot.
Oh,
you can see the area that she gets in and how she strikes the ball. Look, we saw Marta do it in the first half, but this is what we want to see, going in the back of the net from an England player. And Beth Mead has been having a fantastic season for Arsenal. She's full of confidence, getting in those sort of areas, and it's definitely a shot.
Yeah, she's not scared to take a shot either, as she reached on. It was what England needed in that second.
No, I mean, Beth Mead she's flying this season. She's playing, you know, right of the three for Arsenal, and from that wide position, that's 100% a shot. The way she strikes straight through the ball, there's no whip on that, no intent to pass.
But that's what you want. Subs coming on, making an impact, saying, I want to be in the starting 11.
Yeah, I was going to say the substitutes. Tony Duggan coming off the bench, Beth Mead coming off the bench, Lucy Bronze going into midfield.
Bronze in midfield.
I liked her.
Yeah. You can see Lucy Bronze she hasn't got the captain's armband on, and rightly so because Steph's in there, but she is a leader in this team. She drives the ball, she drives this team forward, she's dictating play, whether it's right back in midfield today.
You're seeing her grow as she's moved to Lyon and she's playing with the calibre of players that she's playing with, you know, littered with international players, Champions League winners. She's learning, and you can see, he said, go into that position, play in that holding midfield position, and she knows what that role is. She knows how to get on the ball, and she provided that link for England in the second half to move up the pitch.
Yeah, it is, like you say, a warm-up tournament to the World Cup. Yeah. But how much is this tournament also about making a statement ahead of that World Cup?
Well, I think for individual players making a statement to Phil Neville, I think that'll be the most important thing. I think making a statement to other teams, less so, because you've got key players missing from this. But I think certainly for the players that are there selected for this tournament, each one of them needs to make a statement to Phil Neville and, you know, to their teammates that they actually want this, because that first half was really lacklustre.
Did anybody make a statement, do you think, Alex, in that second half, in that improved performance in the second half?
I think Rachel touched on it, how vital Kira Walsh can be in that position. You need someone, what she does at Manchester City is gets on the ball and she can see those passes, and her ability to play those passes is what you need in this England team.
Well, I think we can hear from Phil Neville now. He's been speaking to Joe Curry.
Well, Phil, tougher tests to come in this tournament, but England got there in the end tonight.
Yeah, we did. Look, it was a really tough game for us because of what had gone on in the previous 3 or 4 days. I had a lot of tired players out there. I spoke before the game about the freshness. But the determination, the togetherness in the second half was as good as I've had since I've become manager. I really did. At half-time, I wasn't happy. I've got to say I wanted them to play with more speed, more togetherness, more quality, particularly in the final third. The pitch was really slow, so we had to play in their half. And I knew in the second half they'd come out. I knew that they would tire because I think our fitness, our physicality would run over the top of them. And there were 2 great goals that we scored. I thought we should have scored 2 or 3 more. But what I enjoyed the test. I enjoyed the fact that Brazil had quality players and our defenders had to defend. And I'm pleased that it was a big result for us.
A very big result, but the talking point in the first half was that penalty. What did you make of it?
I thought it wasn't a penalty. I thought Lucy Bronze got the ball. We're going to a World Cup where there is VAR, so I think decisions like that will be probably better. But I've got to say that at half-time, that was the least of my worries. I was more concentrated on the fact that we weren't playing like we should have played. I was probably a little bit harsh on them at half-time because my frustration and anger probably boiled over a little bit, but second half they showed what I wanted them to see, that spirit, that enjoyment and the real togetherness.
Next.
Yeah, not happy with the first half, but he'll be delighted that he got a reaction.
Yeah, and him saying he was harsh at half-time. No, I think he needed to be. He needed to get a reaction from his team because you want players to enjoy playing against the best teams in the world. You don't know if you're going to get that chance again, so you need to take it. So, no, I think they needed to be told. We were harsh in the studio, but it needed to be said.
Yeah, we were saying exactly what we wanted to say in the change room at half-time, and I don't think it was too far different from what Phil Neville would have said.
No, indeed. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight. That is it from us. Thank you for watching. We'll be back on Saturday night, 9:45 BBC 2 for England against the USA. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.
Big moment for England. We're hoping for goals. Here comes Marta, challenged by Lucy Bronze, and the penalty is awarded. And it's coolly slotted home by Andressa Alves. Ellen White, and that's the equaliser for England. She only needs 1 chance. The perfect start to the second half. Beth Mead went for goal, and what a goal! Absolutely stunning! England win their opening SheBelieves Cup game.